right, we'll call the meeting to order for Tuesday, June 20th. Christie, do a roll call.
Cahill. Here. Broussard. Here. Echo.
Here.
Garcia. Krajewski.
Here.
Rutledge.
Here. Anybody sign up for public comment?
No public.
Chairman doesn't have any remarks. I'll just talk about the number 7 when we get there. Move on to approval of our minutes from Tuesday, May 16th.
So moved. Second.
Any questions, comments, additions, deletions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Move on to our grants. If we could get a motion for FIR 0154-23.
So moved.
Appropriation
Second.
funding from DuPage Animal Friends. Any questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, move on to item 7, discussion on ordinance for banning decline and devocalization, decline of cats and devocalization of dogs. Mark Ayers, the executive director of the Humane Society, called and asked if we could maybe take a look at this here and maybe talk to some DuPage entities about passing, some home rule communities passing decline and devocalization. It's something they're trying to push through statewide, similar to the ban on puppy mills. They had tried for a while statewide with no success, and it started building once they started getting some municipalities on board, banning it in their local communities. DuPage has happened to be the, had the most just because of the efforts that we did here at the county. But Warrenville, West Chicago, Downers Grove, Lyle, Naperville, all used their home rule authority to ban it. And then as more and more communities did it, eventually the state did it. They are what's Hannah from Illinois?
IACA. Oh, well, there's just remember a lot of words.
Which is the one that's always against anything that.
Oh, that'd be IACA, Illinois Animal Control Association.
Well, but it's also a medical one in Chicago.
ISPMA is the Illinois State.
So a lot of their lobbying groups are usually against all of these, and they were against the ban on puppy mills because a number of their vets, I guess, make money off of that. So they seem to be opposed all the time. They are opposed to the decline. Nobody seems to be opposed to devocalization of dogs. So the thought was you include them both in there. It's hard to say no, but they're against the decline. That's, I guess, we have it in our, according to Laura, in our contracts when we adopt. So Grant, you can sign that. So hopefully you didn't declaw your cats, but we put that in our own ordinance or our own adoption agreements that you can't declaw a cat. Also, I think you could probably speak better to the feelings of our staff in the back regarding the decline.
Yeah, staff feels very strongly against that. And we talked to adopters about how to provide appropriate scratching surfaces, make sure you're doing regular nail trims. For those cats that are maybe older and didn't have great experiences with getting nail trims in the beginning, that might be tougher. They make these little kitty caps that you can put on their nails. There's a lot of other solutions instead of doing this type of procedure.
So I would say that I am totally I'm anti-decline, but I've got the marks to prove.
Oh.
My cats like to meet me, I was telling Laura before. Christy had a wonderful idea about having a clinic on nail clipping to show people how to.
Oh, that'd be good for dogs.
Put their, yeah,
A little
that's a good
orientation
idea. I think that's a
seminar.
wonderful idea.
You can do that with our van when we take it out to the.
Yeah, that's great.
So the thought was, one, we're not home rule, but under maybe some statutes regarding cruelty, et cetera, we could use that to put that in there. So if you want to take a look at least on the decline, what we can do from a county standpoint. And then we may work with some of our local municipalities. I've already reached out to a couple that are home rule that can actually put this in. We have a model ordinance. I don't know if that is in the agenda at all.
It was attached, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I had, Mark had sent us the model ordinance, and then maybe next month, think about it and what our thoughts are. We'll get back from the state's attorney, and then we could potentially add it to the legislative agenda. If that's
Great.
something. that
Absolutely.
we
I
want.
definitely would be against, I'm definitely supportive of this ordinance, yes.
If there's that much,
Yep,
yes,
yep,
maybe we
yep,
just
we're all
start
yes.
working on bringing it
Let's do
to
it.
your committee to,
Yep, mutilating.
and then see what we can do from a
No.
non-home rule community standpoint, and maybe under cruelty laws, we can put that in as far as
Definitely.
in our ordinance, and we'll work with the home rule communities and see what goes goes from there on that.
I
But
think
it-
everybody here is supportive of
Yeah,
that.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, we have it in our own adoption agreement that when you adopt a kid, you can't declaw it. Prohibit them from doing it, and I know staff, the caretakers in the back feel very strongly about,
Everybody does.
about.
Do we
that.
have to put the devocalization into the agreement too?
Just everybody's for that, so that's why they want to include it
No,
together.
no, I'm asking if it is currently.
It is not currently in our,
Yeah,
I think that is a far more expensive procedure. I think part of the problem too with decline is it is really not that expensive of a procedure. So, unfortunately too, when Christy's been reviewing spay neuter voucher invoices, we'll issue a voucher for somebody in financial need that needs their cats spayed, for example. And then we'll see a line item where they've went ahead and then paid for the decline. And we're like, okay, well, that's,
No.
why is that happening, right? And it's because it's not,
we're not covering that though, right?
No, we
It's
don't.
just
Oh,
in
no,
the,
we
it's
don't
just in the
cover that.
invoice to be
yeah,
reimbursed.
we've caught that a
from-
couple times. I don't know if it's recent, but we have seen that, so.
I think the difficult thing will be the enforcement, but if we get the word out about this ordinance to all the vets in the county, then.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah, vet buy-in is important.
Grant,
Well, I know I brought this up at legislation committee, and my only concern was if we didn't allow decline, that cats would be euthanized. And I know you said that doesn't happen in DuPage, but I swear, I was listening to WBBM or some radio station or something where they were talking about this, and they said that somebody had brought that exact point up, and I thought that it would occur and more cats would be euthanized because they couldn't be declawed. So I just wanted us to do a little research between now and then to find out if I'm right, if there's anything you can find out so that we can respond to it if somebody brings it up in a meeting.
I know that my in-laws live in a rural area and they wouldn't declaw because they're almost outside cats and they're using them to.
Just-
Yeah, oh,
catch
yeah,
them out.
that's their
So that's
job.
actually something that would happen in the world.
it's in their business, they can take it as a tax deduction for rodent control.
Yeah, and then the mice will get.
That's serious.
I believe you, I believe you.
It's like your governments,
Yeah.
security. Any other comments, questions? So we'll see what we can do under our own, as a non-home rule county with regards to that. Administrative update.
Yes, so I want to first thank all of the donors and our DuPage Animal Friends Board for making this extra $25,000 available to us. We've had a lot of critical medical cases already this year, and those, so all that, we're so grateful that they help support us so that we never have to worry about saying no to an animal that really needs that extra care. I wanted to touch on something, I talk about how we're part of the Chicagoland Humane Coalition, and in partnership with them and 24 Pet Health, we are participating in a 12-hour microchip event this Saturday from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. If you guys want to share across your social media channels, we want to microchip as many pets as possible. And this is all in the effort to just make sure animals are getting home. So 24 Pet Health also launched a website called 24 Pet Connect. And the idea was that on 24 Pet Watch makes microchips, so they're donating all the chips to us. 24 Pet Health launched this 24 Pet Connect site so people can post when they've lost a pet, or our database automatically feeds found pets there so people can see who's in our shelter. And they thought, what better than on June 24th to do a 24-hour microchip event. Now we can't commit to the full 24 hours, but we're doing 12. But there are 11 other areas that are participating. Some are doing 24 hours for people that do shift work and want to microchip their pet at 2 o'clock in the morning. There's a couple locations out there that are doing it, but we'll run 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And we've got staff there, and we've got a really great group of volunteers that are going to help make that possible. And it's going to be like a drive-through clinic. So
Great.
also, we are relaunching our Chicago Dog campaign with the coalition. We're kind of refreshing the brand, the images that we used for marketing, which was probably to promote, these dogs 40 pounds and over that are just harder to find placement. We've got some new merchandise that's getting launched, and just also doing some fee-waived adoption. So select dogs 40 pounds and over are completely fee-waived right now. And those are the dogs that they sit longer, right? So we want to help encourage people to take a look at a big dog. And speaking of sitting longer, our population, I know we keep talking about it every time I come to committee, so I'm happy to say we're under 200 animals right now. And especially with dogs, we're down to about 30. So a couple times we've hit really critical capacity already this year. And every time we've gone out to the public and asked for help, they've stepped up, we figured it out, and we've been able to lift those euthanasia deadlines. So really grateful for the community working with us to try to find solutions for these dogs. So 30 dogs, I thought I'd give you some numbers here, 118 cats, and 31 small animals. So we are seeing a huge increase in guinea pigs right now.
Wow.
And unfortunately, we have ringworm running through our guinea pigs at the shelter, so they're gonna sit even longer with us. So we're trying to push owner surrender appointments out. But once again, this is coming from, it's not just like I have one guinea pig I need to surrender. It's like I have 10 guinea pigs I have to surrender. I have 12 guinea pigs I have to surrender. And unfortunately, this one home that's been breeding guinea pigs, that's where the ringworm came from. So we told him to stop bringing us guinea pigs until we can get our situation more under control. We're advising him on what he needs to do in
He's
his
breeding them and
home.
bringing them to us.
Yeah,
was
look, I
He
was thinking that
says
too.
he's not
Definitely,
intentionally breeding
I'm
them.
sure.
We've offered to sex them for him to make sure he's not having more oops litters.
Yes.
But we can only offer the help. I can't make people follow the advice that we give them, so we're doing our best. But this is what we've seen a lot of this year: guinea pigs, cats, birds, dogs, these like just mass intake situations. So we hope it does slow down, but guinea pigs are the new rabbit right now. So, and then also right now, budget preparation, as you guys know, is happening. So we'll be submitting some stuff in the next week here and then bringing our budget proposal to you guys soon. But we're looking pretty good. I'm evaluating some changes possibly to our fee structure for some of the vet care items and out of county surrender fees. Because we continue to have a lot of requests for out of county owner surrendered pets. And right now we do charge a little bit more than we do our in-county ones, but
Is it coming from Kane?
it's coming
Mostly.
from everywhere. Yeah,
Why do they come to us instead of their own county?
They can't, because it takes them weeks or months before they can get in for a surrender, and they just tell them, go to DuPage, they'll take them.
yeah, there's just not enough places taking animals.
And the flip side is if they say no, and no, and we say no, then they just let them go. Throw them out.
We end up with them anyway.
Yeah, I
It's a long
mean,
game then probably, but yeah.
and the benefit when it's a surrendered pet is we get some type of history,
Yeah.
right? Behavior, health.
Age, breed.
Yeah. And I think that it's tough to say no to people who are in need, right? Like we're trying to meet the needs of our own community first. We do prioritize our DuPage County residents. So if we are scheduling further out, we're pushing the out of county ones out a little further, but we're getting all these referrals to our shelter, but people forget we're a really small shelter. We're not, you
Well,
know,
even the ones that came from Schaumburg, those rabbits last year, I mean,
that was Cook County.
Cook County, but they had no place to go, so the Schaumburg police, when they got all the rabbits in that hotel, they called us and said, can you help us? Because they had no place in the county that could take them.
And the new shelter doesn't necessarily increase capacity. It's providing the more appropriate spaces because we are constantly over capacity in our current building. So, so yeah, we're hopeful that things do slow down a bit, but there is a nationwide crisis right now with just shelters are very full. So, and I don't have anything else unless you guys have any questions.
Question for Laura?
I do have a question. As we're pushing this, Saturday clinic out on social media, how long does it take to chip an animal? If you're saying a drive-through, it's got to be minutes, right?
It is. I mean, the chipping part is the quick part. It's the restraining, getting the animal comfortable. So the microchipping is a couple seconds. It's the process of getting animals in and out. We're going to have volunteers doing all the paperwork ahead of time. So as people are waiting in line, they can be filling out their information. We're going to be offering free ID, engraved ID tags too. So we'll have other things we can be doing while they're waiting in line. But the idea is that once they get up to the staff that's restraining and chipping, hopefully they're just going to wait quickly. I have no idea what to expect. It's either going to be a line out county farm or it'll be a steady stream. I have no idea. So we'll see. a good
Once
learning
once Dawn and I
opportunity.
put it all on social media, it'll be a line on
I
that.
love it. I love it.
88.
Going all the way.
I asked for 300 microchips,
Okay.
so we'll see what comes through.
All right,
Yeah.
any old business? New business?
New business,
Okay.
this one's kind of weird. Yes, I watch TikTok every once in a while. But I didn't know that this was a thing. This is a 6-pack ring. But now they come with little perforations down the side so that an animal can break through. Some of these are like all the way through.
That's neat.
But yeah, you just pull those little perforations on here, so less wildlife gets tied up in these things. So just passing that
I always
along.
cut mine, but that's,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, you just pull the little perforation and it doesn't totally take it, but I think that, something could break out of just that little tiny bit. So just thank you, TikTok.
All right. Any other new business? If not, objection, we're adjourned.